Why would a woman give her kidney to a child whose father she came to destroy? If this story already has you hooked, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Trust me, you'll want to stay until the end to see what happens when the Mafia boss discovers the truth. The doctor's voice was steady, clinical. I'm sorry, Mr. Yoon. Without a transplant, your daughter has 6 months. Maybe less. Sarah Denzel stood 3 paces behind her boss in the hospital corridor, invisible as always. Just the PA. Just the hired help. Just the Black American woman who'd worked for Dante Yoon for 9 months without him learning her last name. There must be donors, Dante said, his voice the controlled calm that preceded violence. Money is no object. The waiting list is years long. And Jia's blood type, AB negative, it's rare. Especially in Korea. The doctor hesitated. Family members are usually the best match, but her mother is dead. I have no siblings. No extended family. Dante's jaw tightened. Then buy a kidney. Someone will sell. Sarah's hand moved to her medical alert bracelet before she could stop herself. AB negative. Same as the 12-year-old girl currently dying 3 floors above them. The girl who called her Miss Sarah and saved her drawings. The girl whose father Sarah had come to Seoul to destroy. Chapter 1. The Invisible Woman. Sarah Denzel was invisible. 9 months as Dante Yoon's PA, and he still didn't know her last name. Her 5 feet 10 inches frame and dark skin stood out in Seoul's Gangnam district, but powerful men had perfected the art of looking through people. To Dante, she was the PA. A snap of fingers. A gestured command. Furniture with a pulse. Sarah used it. Invisible people overheard things. Accessed files left carelessly open. Moved through a world that forgot they existed. She'd cataloged Dante's empire for 9 months. The legitimate hotels, shipping, tech investments. The questionable protection rackets, underground gambling. And the reason she'd traveled 6,000 miles from Chicago with false credentials and a heart full of rage. The human trafficking operation that had taken her sister. Imani. 23. Brilliant. So excited about teaching English in Seoul, she'd cried on their last video call. This is just the beginning, Sarah. 2 months later, silence. Then a text from an unknown number. Your sister borrowed money from wrong people. She's working it off. Don't look for her. Sarah looked anyway. U.S. Embassy. Korean police. Private investigators. Dead ends everywhere. Until she found it, a front company buried in financial records. A name. A trail leading straight to Dante Yoon's organization. 1 year of preparation. Learning Korean. Forging resume. Getting hired through his placement agency. 9 months of yes, Mr. Yoon, and right away, Mr. Yoon, while she searched for proof. For Imani. For the evidence that would let her burn everything he'd built. Then Jia complicated everything. Dante's 12-year-old daughter. Quiet. Bookish. Raised by nannies because her mother was dead and her father was too busy building empires. Sarah hadn't planned on caring about her. But Jia remembered Sarah's birthday when her father forgot. Left thank you notes in careful English. Actually listened when Sarah talked about Chicago. My mom died when I was 6. I think she would have been like you. Kind. The words shattered something in Sarah's chest. This child thought Sarah was kind. The daughter of the man who destroyed Imani thought Sarah was kind. The irony was devastating. Now Jia was dying. Kidney failure. Genetic. 6 months without a transplant, the doctors said. Maybe less. Sarah stood in the hospital corridor, watching Dante make frantic calls. Offering millions. Calling in favors. Growing more desperate with each refusal. AB negative was rare. Especially in Korea. Sarah touched her medical alert bracelet. AB negative. Mr. Yoon. He didn't look up from his phone. Not now. I'm AB negative. His head snapped up. Eyes finally focused on her, really seeing her for the first time in 9 months. What did you say? AB negative. Same as Jia. Sarah held his gaze. I'll need compatibility testing, but blood type is the first hurdle. You're offering, he couldn't finish. To be tested. If I match, I'll donate. Why? The question was sharp, suspicious. 9 months you've worked for me. Why give your kidney to my daughter? Because she's innocent. Because she's 12 and dying and this isn't her fault. Because even rage has limits when a child's life is at stake. Because Gia is a good kid, Sarah said simply. And it's the right thing to do. Dante studied her like he was seeing a stranger. The surgery. The recovery. The risk. You understand. I understand. Nothing is free. What do you want? Nothing. Test me. If I'm compatible, I donate. No strings. Your last name, he said suddenly. I don't know your last name. Denzel. Sarah Denzel. He extended his hand formally. Miss Denzel. I'll arrange testing immediately. Sarah shook it, feeling everything shift. 9 months invisible. Now this, potentially saving the daughter of the man she came to destroy. If you're already feeling Sarah's impossible choice, drop a like. Comment below, could you make this sacrifice? Subscribe because what happens next will change everything. Chapter 2, The Test. The compatibility testing took 3 days. Blood work. Tissue typing. Cross-matching. A battery of evaluations to determine if Sarah's kidney would save Gia's life or be rejected by her immune system. During those 3 days, everything changed. Dante spoke to her. Actually spoke, not commands, but conversation. Asked about her background, her family, why she'd come to Korea. Sarah fed him the cover story. Chicago. Business degree. International experience. All lies woven with enough truth to sound authentic. She didn't mention Imani. Couldn't, without revealing everything. You're overqualified to be a PA, Dante observed on day 2, studying her fabricated resume with new attention. MBA from Northwestern. Why administrative work? Everyone has an MBA now, Sarah said smoothly. I needed international experience to stand out. Your organization provided that. Not entirely a lie. She'd worked in finance before Imani disappeared. Before everything became about finding her sister. Gia visited Sarah's apartment on day 3, accompanied by bodyguards. The girl looked frilier than Sarah remembered. Dark circles under her eyes. Skin pale. She sat carefully on the couch like sudden movements hurt. Miss Sarah. Gia's voice was small. My father said you're being tested. To help me. That's right. Why? The same question her father had asked, but softer. Vulnerable. You don't have to. No one would blame you. Sarah studied the girl's scared face. So young. So terrified beneath the brave exterior. Because you matter, Gia. Your life matters. And if I can help, I will. Tears welled in Gia's eyes. Everyone my father asked said no. Even with money. They were afraid or not compatible or, her voice broke. Everyone said no except you. Well, I'm not everyone. Sarah took the girl's hand gently. And you're worth fighting for. Gia hugged her then, fierce and desperate. If you save me, Miss Sarah, I'll never forget it. I promise. The words shattered something in Sarah's chest. This child thought she needed to earn the right to live. You already deserve it, Sarah whispered. Just by being you. That night, the results came back. Perfect match. 6 out of 6 antigens compatible. The transplant team called it remarkable and extraordinarily fortunate. Dante appeared at Sarah's apartment at midnight. His security waited in the hallway while he stood in her doorway, uncharacteristically uncertain. You're a match. I heard. Surgery is scheduled for next week. If you consent. He paused. You can still refuse. I won't. There will be no retaliation. Your job is secure regardless. I'm not refusing. Sarah stepped back, letting him enter. I said I'd donate if compatible. I keep my word. Dante moved into her small apartment, looking around like he was seeing how she lived for the first time. Modest furniture. Books on Korea. A photo of Sarah and Imani, carefully positioned where visitors wouldn't immediately notice. His gaze lingered on the photo. Your sister. Sarah's heart stopped. Yes. You're close. Very. The word hurt. Then she's fortunate. Dante turned back to her. Sarah, I need you to understand something. If you do this, if you give Gia your kidney, you'll be saving the only family I have left. That creates obligation in my world. I don't want obligation. Nevertheless, you'll have it. His voice was serious. I protect what's mine. If you save my daughter, you become mine to protect. Whether you want that or not. I'm not yours, Mr. Yoon. No, he agreed. But you will be my daughter's donor. That makes you family in ways that transcend employment. This choice will change everything. Drop a comment, is Sarah making a mistake? Like if you're feeling the impossible situation. Subscribe because the surgery is just the beginning. I don't want bonds with you, Sarah said carefully. I want to help Jia. That's all. You're lying. He said it without accusation. You want something. Everyone wants something. I just haven't figured out what yet. Sarah met his gaze steadily. Maybe I just want to do one good thing in a complicated world. Maybe. He didn't sound convinced. The surgery is Tuesday. My team will handle all logistics. You'll have the best surgeons, the best care. I just need the surgery to work. Nothing is extra when it comes to my daughter's life. He moved toward the door, paused. Get some rest. You'll need your strength. After he left, Sarah sat alone, staring at Imani's photo. I'm sorry. I came here to destroy him. Instead, I'm saving his daughter. But she couldn't let a child die. Not even for vengeance. Not even for Imani. Some lines, once crossed, destroyed who you were trying to remain. Sarah wasn't ready to become that person. Not yet. Chapter 3. The surgery. The surgery took 8 hours. Sarah went under anesthesia thinking of Imani. Woke up in recovery thinking of Jia. The pain was extraordinary. Her entire side felt torn open and reassembled wrong. Every breath was negotiation. Every movement required calculation. The surgery was successful, the doctor said through the medication haze. Your kidney is functioning perfectly in Jia. You saved her life, Miss Denzel. Sarah drifted in and out. Saw nurses checking vitals. Saw flowers appearing, so many flowers the room looked like a funeral home. Saw Dante sitting beside her bed at 3 a.m. when he thought she was sleeping. He looked different. Vulnerable. The controlled mask cracked, revealing exhaustion and something else. Guilt, maybe. Or wonder. I don't understand you, he said quietly to unconscious Sarah. You gave her life. You barely know her. You certainly don't owe me anything. Yet you did this. Sarah kept her breathing even, feigning sleep. Jia is asking for you. Every time she wakes up, first thing, is Miss Sarah okay? When can I see her? A pause. She's never had this. Someone who chose her without agenda. Who gave without expecting return. His voice roughened. Neither have I. Sarah heard him stand. Felt him adjust her blanket. Then footsteps retreating. She opened her eyes to an empty room and flowers everywhere. 3 days post-op, they wheeled Sarah to Jia's room. The girl was sitting up in bed, color already returning to her cheeks, looking more alive than Sarah had seen her in months. Miss Sarah. Jia's face transformed with joy. You're awake. How do you feel? Like I donated a kidney, Sarah said with a weak smile. But I'm okay. How are you? I feel amazing. Jia's eyes shone. The doctors say your kidney is working perfectly. They say I'll be able to do normal things again. Sports. Travel. Everything. Good. Sarah's voice caught. You deserve everything, Jia. Because of you. The girl reached for Sarah's hand carefully. You gave me my life back. You're my hero, Miss Sarah. You'll always be my hero. The words hurt more than the incision. This girl, looking at Sarah with pure gratitude. This girl whose father Sarah had come to destroy. What am I doing? How did I get here? A week post-surgery, Sarah was cleared to recover at home. Dante insisted she move into one of his properties instead. Better security. Better care. Non-negotiable. Sarah found herself in a penthouse in Gangnam with around-the-clock medical support, a personal chef preparing kidney donor-appropriate meals, and every comfort imaginable. It felt like a gilded cage. Jia visited daily, bringing books and stories and desperate desire to spend time with her hero. Dante visited too, ostensibly to check on recovery, but the conversations grew longer. Deeper. He asked about her life. Her family. Her dreams. Sarah parceled out truths carefully. Gave enough to seem open while hiding the important parts. The missing sister. The real reason for Seoul. the evidence she'd been gathering. You don't trust me, Dante observed one evening, 3 weeks post-surgery. Should I? No. His honesty was unexpected. I'm not a good man, Sarah. I've done things that would horrify you. Built an empire on questionable foundations. Hurt people who got in my way. Then why tell me this? Because you saved my daughter. Because you're recovering in my home. Because, he paused, you're the first person in years who looks at me like I could be something other than what I am. You're imagining things. Pain medication. Perhaps. He didn't look convinced. Or perhaps you're the first person who's challenged me to be better. Even if you don't realize you're doing it. Sarah's phone buzzed that night. Unknown number. We know you're looking for your sister. We know you work for Yoon. We can help each other. Dong Demon Market. Tuesday. 3 p.m. Come alone. Sarah stared at the message, heart hammering. Someone new. Knew about Imani. Knew about her real purpose. Friend or trap. And could she risk finding out while recovering in Dante Yoon's penthouse, dependent on his protection, tangled in obligations she'd created by saving his daughter? Chapter 4. The Meeting. Sarah shouldn't have gone. 3 weeks post-surgery. Still healing. Still on pain medication. But the message promised information about Imani. That made everything else irrelevant. She told Dante's security she needed air. They protested but allowed it. She wasn't a prisoner. Sarah lost them in Myeongdong's shopping crowds. Easy when you'd spent months mapping Seoul's exits. Dong Demon Market at 3 p.m. was chaos. Perfect place to disappear. The text directed her to a small tea shop on the market's eastern edge. A woman sat in the back corner. Early 40s. Elegant. Expensive clothes. Yuna Park. Wife of Dante's biggest rival, Cassius Park. Miss Denzel. Yuna gestured to the seat across from her. Thank you for coming. You know about my sister. Sarah didn't sit. Tell me where she is. Sit first. We're not enemies. You're married to the Park family. Dante's rival. That makes us enemies by default. Or allies with common interests. Yuna's smile was sharp. Sit. The information is worth the risk you took coming here. Sarah sat, every muscle tense. Your sister, Imani Denzel. 23. Disappeared 18 months ago. Yuna slid a folder across the table. She borrowed money from a loan shark connected to the Park organization. When she couldn't pay, she was moved into alternative employment. Sarah's hands shook opening the folder. Photos. Documents. Locations. Imani. Alive. Trapped in a brothel in Itaewon, owned by Park family interests. Why show me this? Sarah's voice was barely controlled. Because I want the same thing you do. To destroy these operations. Yuna's voice was quiet steel. My husband is a monster. I've known for years. But I'm trapped marriage, money, fear. You're not trapped. You have access to Dante Yoon's organization. You've gained his trust by saving his daughter. I didn't save Jia to gain trust. No. You saved her because you're good. Which makes you perfect for what I need. Yuna leaned forward. Dante and my husband run competing trafficking operations. Both are connected to a larger network. If we expose them both simultaneously, the whole system collapses. You want me to betray Dante? I want you to save your sister and hundreds like her. Dante has records. Financial trails. Names. You have access to his files. I need copies. Sarah's mind raced. This was what she'd come for, evidence to destroy the trafficking operation. But the source was Dante's rival's wife. The information about Imani could be a trap. How do I know this is real? Sarah tapped the folder. How do I know Imani is really at this location? You verify. Yuna slid a burner phone across the table. I'll send proof of life tonight. Recent photos of your sister. Then you'll get me Dante's files. And if I refuse? Then your sister stays in that brothel. Hundreds of other women stay trapped. The consortium continues operating. Yuna stood. 48 hours to decide. After that, the offer expires. She left Sarah alone with the folder and phone. Sarah walked back in a daze. Avoided security's questions. Locked herself in her room. At 9 p.m., the burner phone buzzed. A photo. Imani. Recognizable but changed. Thinner. Haunted eyes. Holding today's newspaper. Alive. Imani was alive. Follow-up message, 48 hours. Get the files. Save your sister. Save them all. Sarah stared until her vision blurred. She'd come to Seoul to destroy Dante-yoon. Instead, she'd saved his daughter, donated her kidney, lived in his penthouse. Now she had proof Imani was alive and a chance to save her. All she had to do was betray the man whose daughter she'd saved. The man who was starting to trust her. The man who, impossibly, she was starting to see as human. Sarah's at the breaking point. Comment, what would you do? Save your sister or honor the bond? Like if this choice is tearing you apart. Subscribe because the next chapter forces Sarah to choose. A knock at her door. Sarah. Dante's voice. Jia wants dinner together. Will you join us? Sarah wiped tears, pocketed the phone, opened the door to Dante's concerned face. Are you all right? Just tired. She forced a smile. Dinner sounds lovely. She wasn't fine. 48 hours from the most important decision of her life. And no idea what the right choice was anymore. Chapter 5. The Choice. Sarah had 36 hours left when Jia asked the question. They were having tea in the penthouse garden, a rooftop oasis Dante had created for his daughter. Jia was blooming with health now, 6 weeks post-transplant. Miss Sarah, do you have siblings? Sarah's hand trembled on her teacup. Yes. A sister. Older or younger? Younger. Her name is Imani. The truth slipped out. Is she like you? Kind and brave. She was. Before your father's world destroyed her. She's amazing, Sarah said instead. Smart. Funny. The best person I know. I wish I could meet her. Jia's expression was wistful. I've never had a sister. It gets lonely. The words carved Sarah open. This girl had no idea Sarah's real sister was trapped in a brothel owned by Dante's rival. No idea Sarah was considering betraying her father to save Imani. Jia, Sarah said carefully. If you had to choose between loyalty to your father and doing what's right, what would you do? The girl thought seriously. Father says loyalty is everything. That family comes first. But what if family is doing something wrong? Then Jia struggled. Then I'd try to stop them. Not betray them, but help them be better. Is that possible? From the mouths of children. That night, Sarah accessed Dante's files. His system was networked. She'd spent 9 months learning the architecture. Knew the backdoors. The security gaps. She downloaded everything. Financial records. Shipping manifests. Names, dates, locations. The trafficking operation laid bare. Everything Unipark had asked for. Everything that would destroy Dante-yoon's empire. Sarah stared at the encrypted files on the burner phone, finger hovering over send. One press. That's all it would take. Send the files. Get Imani's location. Save her sister. Destroy the man whose daughter she'd saved. Her real phone rang. Dante, can you come to my office? I need to discuss something. Sarah's heart hammered. Had he discovered the breach? Was this the end? She walked to his office on unsteady legs. Dante sat behind his desk, looking unusually uncertain. A thick folder sat before him. Sit, please. Sarah sat, preparing for confrontation. I've been investigating something. Your background. Your reason for coming to Korea. Sarah's blood froze. I should have done this when you were hired. But I was negligent. He opened the folder. Sarah saw her real resume. Real credentials. Photos of Imani. You have a sister. Imani Denzel. She disappeared 18 months ago in Seoul. There was no point denying it. Yes. You didn't come here for international experience. You came looking for her. Yes. And you suspected my organization was involved. Yes. Were you planning to destroy me? Once you found evidence. Sarah met his gaze. Yes. Silence stretched. Then Dante slid another document across the desk. This is everything my team found about your sister's disappearance. She borrowed money from the Park family's loan shark operation. When she couldn't repay, she was trafficked into their prostitution network. She's currently held at a location in Itaewon. He was giving her Imani's location. Why? Sarah's voice broke. Why are you telling me this? Because you saved my daughter. Because you donated your kidney, asked for nothing in return, and proved to be the one person who wasn't performing a transaction. He stood, moved to the window. I've spent 2 weeks investigating my organization's connection to your sister's disappearance. We're clean. The Parks took her. We're competitors, not partners in trafficking. I don't understand. I'm telling you I'll help you get your sister back. No debt. No obligation. Just because it's right. Because you taught me that some things matter more than empire. Everything Sarah believed is being challenged. Comment if you think Dante is telling the truth. Like if you're feeling the impossible complexity. Subscribe because the rescue will force Sarah to choose sides in a war. You'll help me rescue Imani? I'll destroy the Park family's trafficking operation. Completely. Your sister will be freed along with everyone else. He turned to face her. But Sarah, this means war. Real war. People will die. My organization will be at risk. I'm doing this anyway because you made me want to be better. I didn't. You did. By being exactly who you are. By choosing to save Jihad despite hating me. He knelt so they were eye level. I'm not a good man. But you make me want to be. So I'm doing this one good thing. For you. For your sister. For all the women trapped in systems I've ignored. Sarah's vision blurred. I was going to betray you. I have files. Evidence. Everything you've done. I was going to send them to Una Park, Dante finished. I know. She contacted you. Offered information about Imani in exchange for my records. How did you? I protect what's mine. And you're mine now. Whether you want to be or not. He took her hands gently. You saved my daughter. That makes you family. And I protect family. I'm not yours. Then what are you? He asked quietly. My employee? My daughter's donor? The woman I'm falling in love with. The confession hung in the air. Don't, Sarah whispered. Don't love me. I came here to destroy you. I know. And I'm choosing to help you instead. Because love is choosing someone even when they're your enemy. Even when it's stupid. Even when it might destroy everything. You can't love me. You don't even know me. I know you gave your kidney to save my daughter. I know you visit her every day. I know you look at me like I could be better. That's enough. Sarah pulled her hands away. What about the files I stole? Backed up and encrypted. Una won't get anything useful even if you send them. Dante stood. I'm taking down her husband's trafficking operation tomorrow night. You can either trust me and let me help, or trust her and send those files. Your choice. Some choice. It's more choice than you had an hour ago. He pulled out a tactical plan. Tomorrow night. Simultaneous raids on 6 Park family locations. Your sister's location is first. I'll personally lead that team. You can come if you're healed enough, or wait here. Either way, Imani comes home. Sarah stared at the plans. Why are you doing this? Because you make me want to be better. Because my daughter has a future because of you. Because he met her eyes, I'm choosing to believe that doing one right thing might balance some wrong. Redemption doesn't work like that. Then call it love. Call it debt. Call it whatever lets you accept my help. He gathered the plans. You have until tomorrow night to decide if you trust me. I'm rescuing your sister either way. The question is whether you'll be there when I do. He left Sarah alone with the choice she'd thought she wanted. Trust the man she'd come to destroy. Or trust his enemy's wife who'd given her Imani's location. 48 hours had become 12. And Sarah had no idea which choice would save her sister and which would get them both killed. Chapter 6, The Raid. Sarah made her choice at 3 a.m. She messaged Una Park, I'm out. Find another source. Then deleted the burner phone's contents and threw it in the Han River. If Dante was lying, if this was a trap, at least she'd go down fighting beside him instead of betraying the girl whose life she'd saved. At 11 p.m. the next night, Sarah wore tactical gear in the back of Dante's SUV. You shouldn't be here, he said for the 3rd time. 6 weeks post-surgery. My sister. My choice. Sarah checked the vest he'd insisted she wear. Besides, Imani won't trust armed Koreans storming in. She needs to see my face. Dante's jaw tightened, but he didn't argue. The team was 12 men. All Dante's most trusted. Armed but with orders. Extract the women, minimal casualties, no killing unless necessary. This isn't revenge, Dante had told them. This is rescue. We're better than the parks. We prove it tonight. The brothel was hidden behind a restaurant in Itaewon. Typical setup, legal business as front, illegal operation in back rooms and basement. 2 minutes, Dante said into his calm. His hand found Sarah's. Stay behind me. If shooting starts, you go to ground. Understood. Understood. Sarah. He turned to face her. If something happens to me tonight, there's an envelope in my office safe. Code is Gia's birthday. Everything you need. Full custody of Gia if you're willing. Nothing's going to happen to you. Promise me anyway. Sarah squeezed his hand. I promise. The raid was chaos choreographed into precision. Dante's team moved like water, flowing around obstacles, overwhelming resistance before it could form. Guards neutralized within 90 seconds. Sarah followed Dante through corridors that smelled of fear and desperation. Doors kicked open. Women screaming. Dante's men shouting in Korean, "We're here to help. You're safe. We're getting you out." The basement was where they kept the ones who'd tried to run. Sarah's heart stopped when she saw the cells. Imani was in the third one. If your heart is breaking right now, drop a like. Comment, found her, if you're feeling Sarah's emotions. Subscribe because what happens when sisters reunite will wreck you. Thinner than Sarah remembered. Hair matted. Bruises in various stages of healing. But alive. Alive and looking up with eyes that had forgotten hope. Imani, Sarah breathed. Her sister's eyes widened. Sarah? No. You can't be here. I'm getting you out. Sarah fumbled with the lock. Dante shot it off with controlled precision. The door swung open. Imani stumbled into Sarah's arms. They both collapsed to the floor, Sarah's incision screaming, neither caring. Just holding each other. Alive. Together. Finally. I looked for you, Sarah sobbed. 18 months. I never stopped. I knew you wouldn't. Imani's voice was wrecked. I knew you'd come. You lasted long enough. I found you. You're safe now. Dante stood guard while they clung to each other. His calm crackled. All 6 locations hit simultaneously. Over 200 women extracted. Park family's trafficking operation in shambles. Then, boss, we have a problem. Cassius Park is here. With reinforcements. Dante's expression went cold. How many? 20. Maybe more. They're surrounding the building. He looked at Sarah. Get your sister upstairs. Extraction point B. Go now. What about you? Buying you time. He pressed his gun into her hand. You remember how to use this? Sarah's father had been ex-military. Taught both daughters to shoot. Yes. Protect your sister. Get out. If I don't make it, you're making it. Sarah grabbed his vest. You don't get to save my sister then die before I can thank you properly. Something flickered in his eyes. Properly? Very properly. So don't you dare die, Dante-yun. He kissed her. Fast and fierce and full of promises neither might live to keep. Then he was gone, moving toward gunfire. Sarah pulled Imani to her feet. Can you run? I can fly if it gets us out. They ran. Sarah's incision was fire. Each step agony. But Imani was alive and beside her and nothing else mattered. They found 6 other women in the hallway. Dante's men extracting them, but pinned by Park's reinforcements. This way, Sarah directed them toward the kitchen exit. Service alley. Getaway vehicles. They were almost there when Yuna Park appeared. She held a gun. Pointed at Sarah. I should have known, Yuna said. You chose him over saving everyone. I am saving everyone. 200 women freed tonight. But not my way. Not with evidence that would destroy both organizations permanently. Yuna's smile was cold. If Dante destroys my husband's operation, Cassius will rebuild. Nothing changes. But if both burn simultaneously, the whole system collapses. You used me. I tried. You chose wrong. She gestured with the gun. Your sister. Come here. No, Imani said. Now. Or I shoot Sarah. Sarah stepped in front of Imani. She's not going anywhere. Then I guess I shoot you both. Yuna's finger tightened. A gunshot. But not from Yuna's gun. Yuna fell, blood blooming on her shoulder. Behind her, Gia stood holding Dante's backup pistol, hands shaking. You are going to hurt Miss Sarah, Gia said, voice trembling. I couldn't let you. Dante appeared seconds later, took in the scene, his daughter holding a gun, Yuna on the ground, Sarah shielding a woman who had to be Imani. Gia, put the gun down, he said gently. She was going to shoot Miss Sarah, father. I know. You did right. Now put it down. Gia set it down carefully. Dante pulled her into his arms while his men secured Yuna. Sarah sank against the wall, pulling Imani down with her. It's over. It's actually over. Who are these people? Imani whispered. Who is he? It's complicated. Sarah looked at Dante holding his daughter. He saved you. After I saved his daughter. It's messy and you're in love with the Mafia boss, Imani finished. Sarah. What happened to you? I learned the world isn't as simple as I thought. That monsters can choose to be better. Dante met Sarah's eyes across the chaos. Something passed between them. Understanding. Promise. Let's get everyone out, he said. We can sort the complicated parts later. Chapter 7. The Aftermath. The safe house was one of Dante's legitimate properties. A hotel in Gangnam, entire floor secured for the rescued women. Doctors. Counselors. Translators. Dante had mobilized resources Sarah hadn't known existed, legitimate resources, helping without judgment or price. 217 women freed. The Park family's trafficking operation destroyed. Cassius Park arrested with enough evidence to ensure he'd never see freedom again. And Sarah, finally, with her sister safe. Imani was being examined when Dante found Sarah on the roof. Couldn't sleep, he asked. Too much adrenaline. Sarah turned to face him. You destroyed an entire trafficking network tonight. Risked your organization. Started a war. Why? I told you why. Tell me again. I need to hear it when I'm not choosing between betraying you and saving my sister. Dante moved closer. I did it because Gia is alive because of you. Because you taught me that some things matter more than power. Because I'm tired of being the man I've been and want to try being someone better. That's a lot of pressure to put on one kidney donation. It's not about the kidney. It's about who you are. What you chose when you had every reason to let my daughter die. He took her hands. You could have found your sister yourself. Destroyed my organization. No one would have blamed you. I would have blamed me. Exactly. You have a moral compass that works even when it costs you. I've built an empire ignoring mine. You made me remember I had one. So this is what? Redemption. This is me trying to deserve the woman who saved my daughter. Who looked at me like I could be better. Who, his voice dropped, I'm falling in love with even though it's inconvenient timing. Sarah's breath caught. Dante. I know. You came to destroy me. I'm a criminal. My world is dangerous. There are 1,000 reasons this is terrible. He stepped closer. Tell me you don't feel it too, and I'll never mention it again. I can't. The admission hurt. I do feel it. I hate that I feel it. You represent everything I came to fight. But then you helped me save Imani. You risk your empire to free 200 women. You let your daughter shoot Yuna Park to protect me. You're complicated, infuriating, and yes, complicated, and somehow worth caring about. Is that all? Just caring about? Sarah pulled him closer. Don't fish for compliments. You know exactly how I feel. Say it anyway. I'm falling in love with you, Dante Yoon. Despite every logical reason not to. Despite the fact that it makes everything more complicated. Despite. He kissed her before she could finish. Gentle at first, then deeper, both pouring 18 months of pain and fear and impossible hope into that connection. When they broke apart, Sarah was breathless. That was overdue, Dante finished. I've wanted to kiss you since you offered your kidney. So calm. So certain. So completely unpredictable. I had an agenda. Remember? An agenda you abandoned to save my daughter. That's when I knew. He rested his forehead against hers. That's when I knew you were different. That I wanted to be different for you. These two have been through hell. Comment, finally, if you're celebrating. Like if you believe in redemption. Subscribe because there's still more, and the choice Sarah makes will determine everything. What happens now? Sarah asked. You destroyed the Park family. That creates a power vacuum. The war isn't over. No, but I'm fighting it differently. legitimate businesses, cutting trafficking ties, using power to dismantle systems instead of profiting. He pulled back to see her face. It won't be fast. I have enemies who will resist. But I'm doing it. For Gia. For you. For the man I want to become. That's dangerous. Everything about you is dangerous, Sarah Denzel. You're the most dangerous thing that's ever happened to me. His smile was soft. And I wouldn't change a single moment. They stood together on that rooftop, Soul's light spreading below like possibilities, and Sarah realized something profound. She'd come for revenge. Found it within reach. And chose something harder instead. Chose to believe people could change. That love could transform. That monsters could become men and enemies could become family. The universe's twisted humor had become something else entirely. Grace. Chapter 8. The Decision. 1 month later, Sarah stood in Dante's office with a choice to make. On his desk, 2 folders. The left one, Dante said, is evidence against my organization. Everything you'd need to destroy me completely. Financial records. Testimonies. Proof of every crime. I had it compiled by lawyers who don't know they're building a case against me. Sarah stared at the folder. The right one is a partnership proposal. You become COO of my legitimate businesses. Help me transition everything above board. Real salary. Real power. Real chance to change from the inside. Why are you doing this? Because you need to choose me, Sarah. Not because you're grateful I saved Imani. Not because we're falling in love. But because you believe I can actually change. He met her eyes. I won't trap you with obligation or emotion. You choose, clear-eyed, who I am and who I'm trying to become. Sarah picked up the left folder. Opened it. Everything was there. Years of crimes. Enough to put Dante away for life. If I take this to authorities, I go to prison. Gia goes to my cousin in Busan. You go home to Chicago with Imani. Clean ending. And if I take the partnership, then we fight together to transform what I've built. You keep me honest. Hold me accountable. Help me become the man my daughter thinks I am. His voice roughened. The man you made me want to be. Sarah closed the left folder. Opened the right. The partnership proposal was real. Equal power. Full transparency. Legal authority to shut down any operation she deemed unethical. This gives me power to destroy you from the inside, she observed. Yes. You're trusting me completely. Yes. Why? Because love is trust, Sarah. Because you saved my daughter when you had every reason to let her die. Because you're the only person who's ever made me want to be better instead of just more powerful. He crossed to her. I'm giving you everything. The power to destroy me or transform me. Your choice. Sarah looked at the 2 folders. Revenge or redemption. Justice or grace. There's a third option, she said slowly. Oh. I take both folders. Keep the evidence as insurance. Take the partnership to keep you honest. Build something new while holding power to destroy it if you break faith. Dante smiled. Spoken like someone who understands power. I learned from the best. Sarah picked up both folders. But I have conditions. Name them. First, Gia knows the truth. All of it. What you've done. What you're trying to change. She deserves honesty. Agreed. Second, Imani gets a job in the organization. Legitimate work. She needs purpose and I need someone I trust watching the books. Agreed. Third, we create a foundation. For women escaping trafficking. Real resources. Funded by liquidating your illegal assets. Agreed. Fourth, you don't get to make unilateral decisions anymore. We're partners. Equal. Or this doesn't work. Agreed. And fifth, she pulled him down by his collar. You kiss me like you mean it and take me to dinner somewhere that isn't a safe house or hospital. His smile was devastating. That one I can definitely manage. The kiss was perfect. Promise and passion and the beginning of something both had stopped believing was possible. When they broke apart, Sarah was breathless. Dinner, she reminded him. Dinner, he agreed. But first, he pulled a small box from his desk. Sarah's heart stopped. Dante. Not what you think. Open it. Inside. A key. To what? The penthouse. I want you to move in. You and Imani. Not as employees or obligations, but as family. His voice was soft. Gia asked me to ask. She wants you close. So do I. That's moving fast. We started with you giving me a kidney. Moving in together seems almost slow by comparison. Sarah laughed despite herself. Fair point. Is that a yes? She looked at the key. The partnership proposal. The evidence she'd hold as insurance. The man who'd been her enemy and become something else entirely. Yes, she said. To dinner. To the partnership. To moving in. To all of it. Even to me? Especially to you. She pocketed the key. But you're buying dinner. I donated a kidney. You owe me. His laugh was rich and genuine. I'll owe you forever, Sarah Denzel. And I'm good with that. Sarah's choosing redemption over revenge. Comment if you believe in second chances. Like if you think love can change people. Subscribe because the final chapter shows what happens when you choose grace, and it's beautiful. Chapter 9. The Beginning. 6 months later, Sarah stood in the Foundation's new building with her sister. The Second Chances Foundation occupied a renovated building in Gangnam. 30 beds. Full medical support. Counseling. Job training. Legal aid. Funded entirely by liquidating Dante's illegal operations. We're at capacity already, Imani said, reviewing intake files. 28 women in residence. Waiting list of 40 more. We'll expand. Sarah watched through the window as Gia taught English to 6 residents. Dante's selling another property next month. That'll fund the second location. He's really doing it, Imani said softly. Transforming everything. We're doing it, Sarah corrected. Together. 6 months of brutal work. Dismantling illegal operations. Transitioning to legitimate businesses. Fighting rivals who saw weakness in transformation. But they'd survived. Thrived. Dante's empire was smaller now. Cleaner. Hotels and shipping profitable without criminal enhancement. Tech investments booming. And the man himself. Sarah. Dante appeared in the doorway. We have a situation. Her heart jumped. What kind? The good kind. Come see. He led her to the Foundation's main room where all 28 residents had gathered. Gia stood at the front, beaming. What's happening? Sarah whispered. Just watch. One of the residents, Min Seo, rescued in the original raid, stepped forward. Miss Sarah, she said in careful English. We wanted to thank you. For this place. For giving us hope when we had none. The other women stepped forward, each holding a flower. 28 flowers, 28 women, each representing a life saved and a future reclaimed. Sarah's vision blurred. You saved me first, Gia added, moving to stand with the residents. By giving your kidney when you barely knew me. By choosing life over revenge. These women are alive because you taught my father that some things matter more than power. I didn't. Sarah couldn't finish. You did, Dante said quietly beside her. Every single one is here because you made me believe change was possible. The residents surrounded Sarah, pressing flowers into her hands, sharing brief stories of survival and hope and new beginnings. That night, Dante found Sarah on their penthouse balcony. You're thinking about Imani, he observed. The 18 months she was trapped. How did you know? Because you always come here when you're processing guilt. He wrapped arms around her from behind. And because I know you're wondering if you should have chosen revenge instead of redemption. Sometimes I do wonder. If I'd taken that evidence to authorities immediately, then I'd be in prison. Gia would be with my cousin. The Foundation wouldn't exist. 217 women would still be trapped or scattered without support. He turned her to face him. And we wouldn't be here. Is that selfish? Choosing this because we love each other. You didn't choose this because of love. You chose it because you believed people could change. That systems could be transformed from inside. That grace was stronger than judgment. He cupped her face. The love was just a bonus. Sarah leaned into his touch. Some bonus. Speaking of which, he pulled a small box from his pocket. Sarah's heart stopped. Dante. I know. It's fast. We've only been together 6 months. But I've been certain since the night you gave Gia your kidney. He opened the box. Marry me, Sarah. Build this life with me. Transform this empire into something worth inheriting. Raise Jia together. Create more foundations. Change more lives. Do it all as partners in every sense. The ring was simple, elegant, perfect. You're sure? Sarah whispered. I came here to destroy you. And instead you saved me. Saved Jia. Saved 200 women and counting. Saved the man I was trying to be but didn't know how. His voice roughened. I've never been more certain. Marry me. Sarah thought of all the choices that led here. Coming to Seoul for revenge. Discovering Jia needed a kidney. Choosing to donate despite her mission. Trusting Dante despite every reason not to. Picking partnership over evidence. Grace over judgment. Every choice led to this moment. Yes, she said. Yes, I'll marry you. He slid the ring onto her finger, kissed her until the city lights blurred. Inside, Jia was doing homework. Imani was reviewing foundation files. 28 women were sleeping safe in beds they'd never dreamed they'd have. And Sarah, who'd come to Seoul with a kidney and a mission of destruction, had instead given both away and received a family in return. I love you, Dante said against her lips. I love you too. Sarah smiled. Even though you're a reformed criminal with enemies and complicated dealings and who loves you more than power? More than empire? More than anything except Jia? That's a lot of love for someone who donated a kidney. The kidney was just the beginning, Dante said. You gave me something more valuable. A reason to be better. A future worth building. A family worth protecting. They stood together on that balcony, souls spreading below like possibility, and Sarah understood something she'd spent 18 months refusing to see. Justice wasn't always about destruction. Sometimes it was about transformation. About taking something broken and building something better. About choosing grace over revenge and discovering that grace had its own power. She'd come to Seoul to save her sister and destroy a monster. Instead, she'd saved a child, freed hundreds of women, transformed an empire, and discovered that monsters were just men who'd forgotten how to be human. And love, complicated, impossible, redemptive love, was the thing that reminded them. If this story of sacrifice, redemption, and impossible love moved you, smash that like button right now. Had you ever had to choose between revenge and grace? Share your story in the comments. Subscribe and hit that notification bell because our next story proves that sometimes the person you set out to destroy becomes the person you can't live without. From Seoul to wherever you're watching, thank you for being part of our story family. The end.